Hey there, my name's Nikki and I'm 29 years old. The story I want to tell you about today is about my nightmare of a mother-in-law who got served by karma in the worst way possible. But of course, that serving did not come without a lot of hurt and anger. I met my husband Peter through a work friend. Peter had been her best friend, and she told me he was single, and I thought, why not? Peter and I went on our very first date to this fine dining restaurant, and it was pretty much love at first sight for both of us. Peter is a very attractive man, and what made it better was his sense of humor. We clicked so well that we only had one more date after our first one before we made our relationship official. We moved in together after about a year of dating, and our relationship only bloomed some more. While I was beyond happy with the way that my life was going, I also knew that since our relationship was getting serious, I needed to meet his family. And so we arranged for that, and I had a great time with his family. His parents were very hospitable and just overall nice to me. I did feel an odd vibe from his mother, Sandra, but every time I felt like she was being a little off, Peter's dad, Mike, would step in and steer the conversation another way. Now, I do tend to be very observative, and I also love overthinking. Even though I found Sandra's behavior odd and felt like she did not like me, I put that thought aside. I didn't even tell Peter about it because I didn't want him to force a confrontation with his mother, only to find nothing was actually wrong, and which could potentially lead to her actually hating me. The point is, I overthought the entire experience enough to force myself to just forget about it. After that, I would go over to Peter's place once a month with him for family dinners. Sandra still behaved a little distant with me, especially considering how Mike warmed up to me really fast and considered me to be a part of the family already. I just figured that Sandra needed some time to warm up to me. If Peter noticed any difference in his mom's attitude to me, he never really said anything. That was how it was for the next 3 years, but by that point, I kind of got used to Sandra not being all chummy with me. On the anniversary of our first date, Peter took me to the same fine dining restaurant we had gone to and proposed to me. It was such an emotional moment for the both of us, and I was genuinely over the moon that I was getting to marry Peter. Peter and I decided to tell his parents first, so we invited them to lunch with us a few days after we got engaged. Unfortunately, Mike was away on some business trip, and as much as we wanted him to be there for the announcement, we also couldn't keep it to ourselves. So only Sandra joined us for that lunch. When she arrived, Peter greeted her first. "Hi, Mom, how are you?" "Oh, sweetie, I'm doing good. What's this all about?" "Well, we have some pretty big news to give you." "What is it?" "Nikki and I are engaged." "We're planning on getting married within the next 6 to 7 months." "What? When did this happen?" "Well, it happened this past weekend." Peter booked us a table at my favorite fine dining restaurant where he got on one knee and proposed. It was really so romantic. "Ugh, congratulations, I guess." "You guess? What's wrong? Are you not happy for us?" "Why would I be?" Because I'm starting a new chapter of my life." "Why would I be happy when you're starting it with her?" "What do you mean?" "Look, I was tolerant when you were dating Nikki because I just thought that this was going to be another insignificant relationship in your life. But getting married to her, just no." "I'm sorry, but do you not like me?" "Am I not being clear? I absolutely do not like you." "But why? Have I ever done something to make you not like me? Did I say something wrong?" "No, but you're just not perfect for my son." "What does that even mean?" "Oh, come on now, Peter. You're a handsome man and Nikki is average. She's not beautiful, and from what I've seen, she doesn't have a lot of talent or skills. I think you could do so much better than just settling for her. You're still young. You should put yourself out there some more. Okay, first of all, you're being beyond rude to me and to Nikki. Secondly, I don't care about what you think is best for me. I know what I'm doing, and I know what Nikki is really like. She's the only woman in the world for me, and if you don't get on board with that, you don't have to attend our wedding. You can't do that. Yes, I can. I expect an apology for Nikki for everything you said. Why do I have to apologize when all I did was speak the truth? Fine. Until you apologize, you are not invited to the wedding. Peter grabbed my hand and we stormed out of the restaurant. I tried to get him to go back to Sandra and talk it out with her, but Peter refused. He told me that he would not let anyone talk down to me. It didn't matter if it was his mother who did it or if it was the president. If she could not respect me, then he didn't have to respect her. Now, I had my own reservations about that thought process, but I figured that it wasn't my relationship to butt into. So I let Peter do whatever he thought was right. Sandra never reached out to either of us for the next 7 months. Peter had her blocked everywhere because he didn't want to talk to her until she apologized to me. I could tell that Peter was hurt by his mother's lack of care about his wedding, so I tried my best to cheer him up by letting him join me to see all the wedding preparations, only so he could envision what the best day of his life was going to look like. Just a month before our wedding, Sandra called me. I will admit that I almost dropped my phone when I saw her caller ID because I really did not expect a call from her, but I played it cool when I picked the call up. Hi, Sandra? Hello, how are you doing and how's my son? Well, I'm doing good, and so is Peter. We are really busy with wedding preparations, so if you want to talk to him... No, I want to talk to you. To me? About what? Don't make this harder than it already is for me. I'm sorry, but you're going to have to be a bit more specific about what this phone call is about. Okay, fine. I just wanted to apologize for what I said last time we met. Oh, well, I don't know what I did or did not do to impress you, but you should know that I love Peter with everything in me. I highly doubt that. I mean, my bad. I'm sorry. I just really disliked you for so long, and it's hard to let go of that dislike. I get it. You're overprotective of Peter. I'm that way with him too. I mean, even if you don't like me, at least you know that I only have his best interests at heart. Yeah, well, I almost contemplated not coming to his wedding because I wanted him to learn a lesson and probably rethink his decision to marry you. Huh? Okay. But the more I thought about it and the more I spoke to Mike about it, the more I realized that I was kind of being a jerk. Well, I'm glad you realized that. Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't have to miss all my son's important moments just because I don't like you. If anything, that makes me a horrible person. Well, I'm sure that Peter will appreciate the apology. At least be nicer to him when you apologize to him. Of course, he's my son. I see no reason to cry and beg for forgiveness from you. All right, then, if this apology of yours is done, I have things to do. Yeah, I'm done. Goodbye. While I was surprised that Sandra called, I was not surprised that her apology was very insincere. I knew how important the day of the wedding was, and I knew that Peter would be sad if both his parents weren't there on that day, so I kept my mouth shut about what was a part of Sandra's apology. I only told Peter that she had called and apologized, which led to him finally unblocking her and talking to her. They patched up just in time for the day of our wedding, and because of that, both Peter and I had a blast at our wedding. I was worried that Sandra would try to sabotage the wedding or that she would say something against me, but thankfully, she didn't. After the wedding, however, Sandra did not really speak to me, which I did not mind at all. Peter and I didn't plan on having kids, although we were not opposed to the idea of having them. We were just waiting for the right time. But before we could decide what the right time was for us, the universe did it for us. After a year of being married, I found out I was 2 months pregnant. Peter and I were overjoyed about it and decided to wait until I was done with my first trimester to announce the pregnancy to our families. When the time came to announce the pregnancy, we invited all of our closest friends and family for a backyard barbecue party. Everyone was very happy and excited for us when they found out, all except Sandra. She cornered me at the party and forced me into a conversation with her, even though I tried my best to avoid her all day. "So, you're pregnant now?" "Yeah, that kind of was the big announcement of today's dinner." "Don't try to be smart with me, Nikki." "I'm not. I'm just being cautious because, you don't like me and have always tried to put me down in some way or another." "Which is something that you absolutely deserve. I know that getting pregnant was only a part of your strategy." "Strategy? What are you talking about?" "I was on my phone the other day and happened to come across this word, baby trapping, where people either impregnate or get pregnant in order to keep their partner with them." "Are you accusing me of baby trapping my husband? You do realize that's insane, right?" "Why is it insane? It's only been a year into your marriage and you're already pregnant. You must have only done it to keep Peter around because he must have begun to realize that marrying you was a bad idea." "That's not true at all, Sandra. I know you hate me, but you need to stop projecting your stupid ideas onto my relationship with Peter." "No need to get so aggressive. Although this aggression could be because you've been caught and you're just trying to cover it up. You need serious help. You can't possibly think that what you're saying is true. So, who's the father? I bet you cheated on Peter." "Excuse me? How dare you? I've tolerated a lot from you, but this is where I draw the line." Whoa, what's going on here? "Sandra accused me of cheating on Peter and baby trapping him to keep him around." "Sandra, you need to apologize right now." "I see no reason to apologize. She's clearly deflecting, and I know that it's because I'm right. You need to leave right now. I will not tolerate these accusations." "We'll get going. Nikki, so sorry that Sandra said all this. I'll talk to her about it." "Oh, you don't have to leave, Mike. I only want Sandra gone." "I know. I think it'll be best if I go now, though, so I can talk some sense into Sandra." "All right, then. Take care. I'm sorry that you have to leave so early." "No, I'm sorry that Sandra said such mean things." I was angry that Mike had to suffer because of what Sandra said. Peter was also upset with the things that his mother said, but didn't say a word to her because I asked him not to. I didn't want to deal with any more stress and risk my baby's health, so Peter and I decided to go low contact with Sandra for a while. That was until Peter and I had a gender reveal party where we invited her out of obligation. Mike made sure to keep her away from me at all times, and that only made the event a little better for me. Peter and I found out that we were going to have a baby girl, and we were super happy about it. At some point during the party, though, Sandra managed to escape Mike's hold, and she found me again. "So, have you given thought to what I said last time?" "You mean about you accusing me of cheating on my husband?" "No, I most definitely have not." "Why? Because you don't want to feel guilty?" "No, because I have no reason to think about it. I haven't cheated on Peter, and in fact, the thought has never even crossed my mind." "That's a bold-faced lie, and you know it. You're just a disgusting creature that latched onto my son, so you could get his money. You keep this language up, and I'm going to leave. I'm sure Mike would love to hear why you upset me again." "Oh, please, Mike just can't see the truth that's in front of him. Or maybe He does see it, and he just can't accept it. I really don't want to talk to you right now. I'm going to go find myself something to eat and stay as far away from you as possible. No, you will not. What are you doing? Stop grabbing onto my arm that way. It hurts. You will listen to me right now. You are going to get a paternity test done on that baby and prove to everyone that the baby you're carrying inside you is not my son's. I'm not doing a paternity test because I know that the baby is Peter's. Oh, speaking of who, there he is. Peter, could you come here? Hey, what's going on here? Your mom's grabbing onto my arm and threatening me to take a paternity test because she doesn't believe that the baby is yours. Mom, are you insane? Let go of Nikki. You're going to hurt her. She has absolutely no reason to take that test. You better drop it or you will not get to see your grandson, ever. Why are you against getting a paternity test anyway? Don't you want to know if the baby is yours or not? I don't need a test to confirm that for me. Clearly she's brainwashed you real good if she doesn't take that test. I'm going to use all my social media accounts to tell everybody that she cheated on you. That's insane. What's wrong with you? I'm only doing what's best for Peter. What's best for me or for you? Get over yourself. We're leaving. Sandra did not stop harassing me by text and call, even after Peter told her to leave me alone. She kept telling me that I needed to get that paternity test done, and even went as far as to send me a screenshot of the social media post that she intended to make, slandering my name if I didn't take the paternity test on my baby. Even though I didn't care about what she thought, I kind of wanted to rub her ignorance in her face. So after I gave birth to my beautiful daughter, I immediately had a paternity test done and a DNA test done. The results took a few weeks to come, and what I saw shocked me. So I had another DNA test done just to confirm the results of the other two, and their results matched them. I knew that the news was going to be big, and as much as I wanted to confront each of them individually, I knew it wouldn't be fair to Mike or Peter, so I had Peter's parents come over to our place and sat all three of them down to reveal the test results. I call both of you over here because I have the results of the paternity test that I took on our baby. Ha! Am I right? Well, you were right about cheating for sure. What? What are you talking about? I knew it! I told you that she was the scum of the earth. I'm never wrong, and now all of you have to apologize for treating me like I was some crazy woman. Hold your horses, Sandra. My baby is 100% Peter's. Okay, then what's all this about cheating? So I did a quick DNA match and I found out something very interesting. You see, our child's DNA matches exactly with Sandra and Peter, but not with Mike. I don't get it. What are you trying to say? What I'm trying to say is that... Okay, that's enough now. No, let her speak. I feel like she's going to confirm something big that I've been thinking about for decades now. Peter, Mike, I'm so sorry that this is how you're finding this out, but Mike, you are not Peter's father. What? I knew it. I just knew it. Mom, is Nikki telling me the truth? I don't know what she's talking about. She's clearly deflecting. She made up those reports. I knew you would not admit it right away, so I took the test from multiple sources, and all of them confirmed the same thing. Is this your way of getting back at me for accusing you of cheating? I was only trying to make sure that my son was with an honest woman. There's no need to make up lies and ruin my life. All right, then why don't Mike and Peter take a DNA test to see if my reports are false? That's nonsense. There's no need for that. That's madness. Peter, if you're okay with it, I would like to have that DNA test done. I'm more than okay with that, Dad. If you take that DNA test, I will never speak to either of you. I don't see why you're being so defensive about it if you have nothing to hide. It's not about hiding something. It's about trust. Neither of you trust me, and that's what hurts. Right. And forcing me to take a paternity test was not at all hurtful? Whatever. I'm going home. You two cannot possibly believe this insane woman. I mean, be rational. She just gave birth, and her hormones are probably making her crazy. Wow, you really stop at nothing to hurt me, huh? I think it really is time that Sandra and I go home. Take care of you two. Good night. Mike got up to leave and Sandra followed him. She looked red in the face and left only after shooting me a mean glare, but I couldn't focus on that. My main focus was on Peter, who looked like he was in a trance. I knew that his entire world had just been turned upside down, so I knew that I needed to be there with him. I just sat with him for a while before he finally broke down and cried. He couldn't believe the fate he had. He cried for a good long while, and my heart broke for him. He did not deserve to be this hurt, and honestly, he did not deserve to be lied to for so long. Eventually, Peter calmed down and managed to fall asleep. The next day, Peter was just a shell of his normal self, and I really just wanted to reach out to him and fix him. But I knew that he needed to process this new information in his own way. A week after the announcement, Peter started to feel better, but that was when Mike called him and asked him if he'd like to do the DNA test then. Peter was in the right headspace, so he agreed to it. They paid for express results, and within a few days they got it. Mike was not Peter's father. It should not have surprised us, because we already knew that I was not lying with the DNA test that I had done, but seeing it once again felt like adding salt to a wound. Mike and Peter ended up spending a lot of time at our place just crying and talking about how they felt. Mike assured Peter that he would always be his son regardless of the biological aspect. I knew that those words comforted Peter a lot. I knew that was one of his biggest fears, that Mike would cut all contact with him for his mother's crime. But once that fear was eased, Peter finally felt anger towards his mother. He asked Mike what he planned to do, and Mike told us that he was going to divorce Sandra. So we helped him find the best divorce lawyer that we could and got the filing process started. In the meantime, Mike also went back to his place and managed to get a confession out of Sandra. Sandra tried to deflect from the truth again, but eventually confessed that Peter was the son of one of her closest friends growing up. This friend lived across the country, and when he had come to town, Sandra met him and ended up doing more than just meeting him. All of this happened a year into her marriage with Mike. Mike was beyond devastated and came over to our place to stay with us until he got his emotions and thoughts in check. Of course, we welcomed him with open arms, and we spent a lot of nights just talking about everything. It made me irrationally angry to see Mike so hurt, because he truly was a good man, and he didn't deserve an ounce of what Sandra did to him. I knew exactly when Sandra got served with the divorce papers, because she called me for the first time since Mike came over. Hello? I don't want your hello. Give the phone to Mike right now. He doesn't want to talk to you, Sandra. Give him some space and time. It's the least you could do after all your lies. You don't get to tell me what to do and what not to do. You ruined my life. I don't want to get divorced, and it's all because of you that this is happening to me. You shouldn't be blaming me for what you did. I made a mistake, but you didn't have to bring it out to light. You could have just quietly told us that your child was Peter's and kept the other part to yourself. Why would I do that? I don't want to be a part of your lies. I would not be any different from you if I did that. Besides, the irony of you calling me the scum of the earth when you thought I cheated is funny now in hindsight. If I didn't say anything, I'd be just that. You are not any better than me. I just know it. Look, you can whine all you want, but you still have to face the consequences of your actions. I got away with it for so long until you came along. I should have tried harder to get Peter to let you go. It's sad that you feel no remorse for your actions, but only for you getting caught. You have no idea how you've devastated both Mike and Peter. You need to stop thinking about yourself for one moment and let the two of them just process the lies. There's no need for all that. If they just listened to me instead of you, they would be completely fine right now. Why would they believe what you have to say now when you've lied to them for 30 years? Why would they believe the words of a woman who's only been in their lives for less than 5 years? They're such fools. Okay, that's enough. You've done enough to hurt them, and I will not let you hurt them any more. Stop calling them and stop calling me. If you really want to talk to Mike, you can talk to him through his lawyer. No, don't hang up. Let me talk to them. Let me at least say sorry. Bye, Sandra. The absolute nerve that Sandra had to still insult me, and her husband and son too, was astounding. I was fuming with rage after that call. I almost did not want to tell Peter and Mike, but I knew that wouldn't be the right thing to do. The two of them also got really mad when I told them about the phone call. Peter almost walked out of the house to go meet Sandra and give her a piece of his mind, but Mike and I convinced him not to. Sandra was beyond any rational thought. She only saw herself and her benefits. No matter what Peter would say, in Sandra's eyes, she would always be the victim. Instead, we focused our energies on helping Mike with the divorce. We made sure to get as much as we could out of the divorce. Thankfully, Mike had kept a good portion of his assets in his name, and Sandra had no links to any of them. For starters, the house would be his because he was the one that paid for it, paid the mortgage and all the upkeep, and it was only his name on the deed and title. Sandra was going to have to find a place of her own. On top of that, Mike made the smart decision to withdraw all of his contributions to their joint account. So all that was left there was her money, which was not really a lot. He also went to the bank and quietly had his name removed from the bank, which, given his credit and good name at the bank, was a lot easier than I expected. The only thing that was remaining to split was all the furniture within the house, most of which belonged to Sandra anyways. The divorce trial went on for a good few months because Sandra fought tooth and nail for every single thing down to the very forks and spoons that they had owned. She also tried to fight for alimony. But after Mike showed the court that Sandra had lied and that he had inadvertently paid for and raised a child that wasn't biologically his, he had no reason to pay her any more support. The judge agreed with Mike and Sandra was denied alimony. Once the divorce was finalized, Sandra did take to her Facebook page to rant about how I had ruined her life and how I was the reason for her divorce. I honestly found it amusing until Sandra began to come to my house and bang at my door like a lunatic. She apparently wanted to talk to me, but the way in which she banged at my door and screamed for me to come out made me think that she wanted to do more than just talk. Peter and I got the police involved and Sandra got arrested for trespassing. That didn't stop her from harassing Peter and I over text, though. Eventually, Peter and I decided to get a restraining order against her, not only to protect ourselves, but also our child. It's been almost a year since all of this went down, and my gosh, what a year it's been. Peter and Mike began to see a therapist and went to a few family counseling sessions together. Even though Peter is not biologically Mike's, Mike has never once made Peter feel that way since we found out about it, which has really helped Peter deal with everything. Peter has made the decision to never track down his biological father, and that's a decision that Mike was grateful for. It's going to be a long road ahead for life to get better, but at least I've got my family to stand by me through it all, and what more could I ask for? Thank you so much for listening to my story.